continuing on.
Overall, there might be lots of people who've had this infection that we just don't know about.
See, once again, the whole population could be infected. So that's the basis for shutting down the entire economy, putting people out of work, etc., etc. And that is the true virus, by the way. The shutting down of the economy.
And right now, we're sort of blind. The only tests that we have that are working really well are those PCR tests to know who has it right now.
Okay, so let's say, hypothetically, that we've solved all the problems of speed, availability, and accuracy. We can test as many people as we want and get the accurate results we need. What would all this testing tell us?
Notice the gloves there were purple. These ones are blue. That's kind of important, the colors they use.
What could we do with this information?
At the beginning of an epidemic like this, we really need to know who has it and who's spreading it. And that's...
See, everybody's guilty. Possibly guilty. Who has it and who's spreading it. Now look, this is all hoaxology. Take a look at the one on the right here. She's looking over at the camera. Okay? That's what you call poor acting. Okay? If you've ever watched good movies, people that are filming their film, they don't look at the camera.
Where we use a PCR test. Then you can do isolation procedures and you can contact everybody that they've been in close contact with. And if we randomly...
Okay, there's your purple gloves.
Do it, and that gives us a very good picture of how it might happen across.
Okay, back to numbers, okay? 702. That could be 9, or it could be 2 sevens, which is a double, what's called double Zion. 7 is the Zion, or the mind weapon. And 7 mimics the Hebrew letter. The Hebrew letter is called Zion. It looks like a 7. Okay? And look, here's the letter K. Could do something with that, but I'm not too sure at the moment.
The population. And the serology test will really help us understand how to control it, perhaps in the future, who needs to be targeted for isolation, etc., etc. So having those sorts of tests can really help us understand how the epidemic goes through a population.
So if we test on a massive scale and amass enough data, it would help us to do all sorts of things, like helping key workers get...
Okay, you might want to talk a little bit about what a big profit's going to be made by drug companies and so forth, doing these testings and developing serums and vaccines and all that nonsense. Okay? Now, once again, in the hospital, it's not necessary to do this because viruses on their own terms are submicroscopic, which means it doesn't matter what mask you put on. You can breathe it in on their own terms. Okay, again, it's all hoaxing. Virology is a hoax, viruses are a hoax. But even on their own terms, they're doing nonsense. Because if it's submicroscopic, the stupid little mask on your face won't stop it. It's so submicroscopic you have to use electron microscopes. And that's another questionable thing. I haven't yet uncovered that and documented that. I'm certain that they're ridiculous and hoaxes, but that's the whole idea of it, that nobody can see them except these ones that run electron microscopes.
Get back to work, protecting more vulnerable people, managing certain groups who are more likely to spread it, and eventually enable us to
Okay, that's the creation of paranoia. Anybody could be spreading it. Your worker, somebody on the street, your neighbor. Paranoia. And by the way, folks are very paranoid right now, at least where I'm living. I don't know what it's like for you.
Lock the lockdown. But even if our testing...
Okay, there were some numbers there in the background. I don't want to go into them. I don't think they're that important, but now this sort of represents you and me. Okay, just cooperate. Just cooperate with this clown. Okay? Just open your mouth or open your nose, whatever, and let the swab come in. Let the swabby come in and swab you. Swab your deck, like in the U.S. Navy, swabby. You could make a joke, some sort, if you want. I don't know.
Was up there with the likes of Germany or South Korea. There's still so much more we need to do to get out of this crisis. Testing alone won't fix it.
The way to get out of a pandemic is through science.
Okay, did you see the chuckle? Did you see the chuckle? All right, that's real important. Now he's going to say the way out is through science. And guess what kind of science they're giving you? BS. Okay? BS. Pseudo false science.
And at the moment, we haven't done that very well. So we need more resources.
Notice they did a lot of editing there because the dude was probably laughing, or the woman was probably laughing. Did you see how quick that jumped? The editing was really bad because look at the smile. Okay? It's called duping delight.
And the trials for vaccines to get more diagnostics out there and to get treatments. That, for me, is my biggest frustration.
His biggest frustration. Well, you might want to end on that. What about your frustration with the Hoax Live system? Okay, I hope this was helpful. And again, you put it together the way you want, and I can maybe take a look at it and we can talk about it or whatever, but I want you to do it now, okay? I'll talk to you later. Call me anytime.